Good evening, everyone. I want to thank you all for taking a look at this video. I know that we are, as a dojo and as a community and as a nation, really facing unprecedented times. And so in an effort to keep our spirit going, and although we cannot train physically in the dojo, my hope is that by releasing a couple of videos here and there throughout the week, that we can continue our martial arts education despite the current challenges that we face. In our dojo, we always talk about the motto of "Forever Strong," and this is a good test for us to see if are we really following that motto? Are we really strong forever despite the circumstances? The greatest warrior shines when things get difficult, and I know that as a dojo family, that with your support, that we can get through this. I thought that a good place to start would be with a series of discussions on the concept of Zanshin. Zanshin is the Japanese concept that means something like remaining mind, and it is related to the idea of alertness or hyper-alertness and awareness. And in modern martial arts, and certainly self-defense-based martial arts like our own, we tend to associate this idea with not only situational awareness, but certainly situational awareness. And situational awareness is just so very important. For now, we'll talk about the physical self-defense element, but it does relate to our habits, our relationships, our health. But even as it relates to self-defense, the situational awareness component is so vital. We can be as well trained physically in the techniques as we want to be. It doesn't matter if you're a Go-Dan, a 9th Dan, a 12th Dan, a white belt, a yellow belt, Mike Tyson, an MMA fighter, a Grand Master. It really makes no difference. Let's just assume that you are as good as you can be as a martial artist technically. You know every arm lock, your reflexes are sharp, you get low in every throw, your taiotoshi never fails, your choking techniques are strong. Let's assume that's the case, which is a big assumption, but let's just assume that's the case. I can have all the skills in the world, but if I'm putting groceries in my car and someone comes up behind me and I'm oblivious to my surroundings and he hits me upside the head with a crowbar and I'm unconscious, all of my training, all of my physical skills count for nothing. Perhaps if I had been facing that individual and he had approached me, I have all the skills in the world to deal with that. But because I wasn't aware, I didn't put myself in a position where I can utilize those skills. And so situational awareness, really our awareness of our surroundings, becomes kind of the bedrock, the foundation, more even than the techniques, because without awareness of your environment, your surroundings, physical proximity between you and other individuals, it becomes very difficult for you to even be aware enough and alert enough to know that, this may be the time to use my skills. You may never even have the opportunity to unlock those skills because you were unaware. And so situational awareness is absolutely critical. The foundation of situational awareness is what I really want to focus on today, which is the concept of baseline. Baseline is the bedrock of the situational awareness, which is in turn the bedrock of our self-defense. So when we talk about Zanshin, situational awareness, particularly as it pertains to physical self-defense in this conversation, it's important that we understand that baseline, or the concept of baseline, is critical for you to understand. So when we think about awareness levels, sometimes the Cooper code is used: white, yellow, orange, red, and so forth. White is, completely oblivious. Yellow is remaining relaxed but alert to our situation at all times. A good analogy may be something like driving. So if I'm driving, I'm alert and aware of my surroundings, but I'm not in a panicked state. There isn't a particular car or particular situation that's giving me concern. I'm just generally aware, but I'm relaxed enough. Code orange would be something where a particular concern arises. You identify a particular car that's driving out of whack, or a deer is on the side of the road. It hasn't jumped out yet, but it's there. And so now you're moving into a code orange where you're not just aware generally and relaxed. A, you're not quite as relaxed, and B, the awareness is moving away from kind of a broad spectrum and is starting to focus in a little bit more, like a laser beam or a mag light is focusing in on a very particular potential threat. And then code red, of course, is that a threat is imminent and that we need to act on that very particular threat in a proactive way. Anyway, working with this code, and we need to then move to the idea of a baseline. And the baseline concept is very, very simple. When I am in a given environment, what is normal to be expected in that environment? And so I ask you, if you're going to the grocery store, what's typical of that environment? If you're headed to a church function, what's normal in that environment? If I am at the post office, what can I determine as normal behavior in that environment? What is expected? If I'm in yoga class, what is typical behavior in that environment? Anything that breaks the baseline of what would be normal in that environment should move you from a relaxed state of awareness to a more concrete and focused state of awareness. That doesn't necessarily mean that a danger is imminent, but it should, at the very minimum, increase your focus and your targeting of your awareness. If I am in a movie theater and halfway into the movie, someone decides that they're now going to start doing yoga, a whole full yoga routine in the middle of one of the aisles while a movie is going on. That person is not playing by the same social contract as everybody else. That should pique your awareness. By the same token, if I'm in yoga class and everybody's going through their poses and breathing exercises, and somebody decides that in the middle of their yoga routine that they're going to pop out their phone and start watching Netflix in the middle of yoga class, that's also not baseline for that environment. That should pique your awareness. If I'm at, we live in Florida. If the example I use all the time, because it actually did happen to me. If I'm in a post office in August and it's 1,000 degrees outside and everybody walks in, and the first thing that everybody comments on when they walk into the post office is thank God for air conditioning and how hot it is outside, and everyone's wearing tank tops and flip-flops and shorts. And yet, 5 minutes into my stay at the post office, someone walks in wearing boots, a hoodie, hands in the pockets, maybe they're wearing gloves. That's not normal. That's not normal. That doesn't mean that person is necessarily going to be a threat, and that we need to start using uchimata or taitoshi on that person or getting ourselves out of there immediately necessarily. But what it should do is that based on our understanding of baseline as the bedrock of our situational awareness, that person being not playing by the same rules and certainly not conforming to what is typical of the baseline in that behavior should pique your curiosity. And so as soon as you walk out of your home and enter a new environment, whether it's an office environment, your work, a sporting event, whatever it may be, ask yourself, what is the baseline in that situation? If you do not know what the baseline is, then you may talk about situational awareness, but you have no bedrock. There is no foundation to your situational awareness. You have to have some bedrock understanding of baseline. What is irregular and what is irregular in a given environment? And when things start moving towards irregular, then your awareness should pick up, and then you start assessing from there what are the next appropriate actions. Maybe it's most often just staying alert or removing yourself from that situation, or continuing to monitor the situation until the baseline returns or things escalate even further away from the baseline. And so when we talk about situational awareness as it pertains to self-defense, Zanshin, the idea of being alert and aware and paying attention, It's very, very important that we don't just know techniques and kata and formal throws and grappling on the mat and randori and self-defense drills as it pertains to our body. Of course, this is critical. This is absolutely critical. But an ounce of prevention goes a long way. And situational awareness, built on a bedrock of understanding our baselines, is absolutely critical. Not that I want to get into it in this particular video, but you can extend this concept to friendships, to business relationships, to health. What is the baseline of how I feel? Do I feel something not right, irregular? Maybe I've had a particular camaraderie and friendship with someone, and I can feel that, you know, our particular way of interacting, our sense of humor with each other, these kind of inside jokes, are going away. I feel some distancing between me and this person. Am I aware of what the baseline is in this particular relationship? Is something changing? Maybe this person's distancing themselves. Maybe they've been offended. Maybe they're having some mental health issues. Whatever it is, understand your baselines. What is the baseline in your friendships, in your business, in your finances, in your self-defense, certainly in your situational awareness. Right now, we are certainly outside of our societal baseline with the coronavirus. And so it's important for us to have a measured and balanced response and adapt to these situations and remain vigilant and alert. Stay high in our Zanshin, our situational awareness. Understand what our baseline is, or our new baseline is for the moment, and build from there. And so we'll have more videos as we go. I hope that you enjoyed this. Certainly it is not the same as physical training, but martial arts properly taught is, again, very much like self-defense, is not just about physical techniques that we train in class. It's built on a bedrock of mental acumen and sharpness mentally, and that begins with baseline, situational awareness, and Zanshin. We'll talk again soon. I hope that you and your family are well. We will return. We will be stronger than ever. But stay strong, stay vigilant, stay healthy. Don't give up. Keep fighting. God bless you all. Us.